Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. And for today's episode, we do have a game for you here against Atletico Bilbao, a team who we've managed to beat 3 times in the previous 3 meetings. So it looks like we have a good record against them. But whether that continues today, we'll have to have a look. But obviously, there's a couple of things we need to update you on. Inconsistencies in terms of form has still left us in 10th place. But we are only still just 6 points away from Europa League spots, so not too far off. Barcelona, of course, pretty much running away with the league. They have 3 games in hand over Madrid, which means they can extend that 9-point lead into, well, you can pretty much add another 9 points to that, I think, if they do win those games, of course. That makes it 18 points. They've had an incredible start. They're unbeaten so far, and more than half the season's gone for them. So fair play to them. And Madrid, kind of underperforming. They won the league last time around. They already got draws and losses that you'd think they would have by the end of the season. So unless they win every single game that they've got until the end of the season, obviously, then that means it's very unlikely they'll even catch up to Barcelona. So it's more of a battle of who gets the Champions League spots and who gets the Europa League spots. So of course, Bilbao are one of the teams there, which is why this game is such a huge game, because we do have a good record against them, and if we do get the 3 points, that means we keep a Europa League team in the same points, so they won't be getting other points. For example, Corona can win the game and there's nothing we can do about that, but we can do something about Bilbao, and if we do beat them, that means we close the Europa League gap down to 3 points. Of course, there's other teams above us who could possibly overcome that as well, but the point is we need to do what we need to do as well. Just some little updates. Santi Mina is our top goal scorer, as well as the one with most assists. So that's really good to see from our false nine. We'll also talk about what happened in terms of the schedule, what happened in recent games. But for some reason, my job security with the board is stable. And let me see if I can find that better. Yeah, it's really unusual that it's stable, but I guess they're okay with what I think maybe they finally accepted everything. But the likelihood is, after a while, they'll probably just fire me if I don't get Europa League. Once Europa League spots are mathematically impossible. But anyways, I think we can update you first in terms of transfers. So we do have some ins that we signed on a free. Thomas Callas from Chelsea, I think. He's currently on loan from Chelsea. Yeah, he's currently at Malaga. It doesn't show that he's actually on loan from Chelsea unless you open up the contract, I guess. But yeah, we are signing him for a free. So a really good buy. Thomas Callas, centre back. And I think he has potential to be a good player for the first division, but the likelihood is, because of his age, he's probably just going to be a decent player. But yeah, we needed a centre back. As you guys know, we do have a current one who's just on loan, so we just needed the numbers for it. And that's why we've also invested in Nilmar as well as a right back. So we invested in all the spots that we needed investing in terms of bringing in players, in terms of bringing in numbers. But of course, in terms of quality, we definitely need to improve. But we did that with Inigo, at least, the Atletico Bilbao, rather, the team we face off today. We've signed him on a free as well. He's going to be a key player for us. He's a right back, and he'll slot in very easily. He's a good signing for most Premier Division sides, or First Division sides, rather. And he's definitely improvement on Danilo, who's just a decent player. And so that's how we want to keep improving the team until we reach a leading player. And then we can start investing in youngsters who would make decent backups. Because obviously Danilo, as a decent player for the First Division, he's an okay, backup player. But I would much rather a youngster who has potential to become a star in his place instead. But right now it's all about trying to get a first 11 of top players so that we can start to get our results. But yeah, really great buy on a free, to be honest, and I don't think we even offered him too much in terms of wages. Manuel as well, we've signed from Empoli. He's a striker, a false nine, but he's also capable of playing a complete forward. And the reason I point that out, I'll tell you in just a moment. We've kind of switched up our tactics a little bit again, because apparently, results have been gone stale, the board are unhappy, all that sort of business. So we're trying to change things up to try and get some results. But yeah, he's definitely a good buy as well, but also just a decent signing. But when you get these players on free, you can't expect leading players for the division if you're signing them with free. I think the best you're going to get is a good player, otherwise you're going to have to start actually buying players. And at the moment, we can't even afford to buy players. To be honest, we can't even afford to sign players on free, apparently. Our wage budget is minus 53. We're in 53k under budget, but obviously not just yet. This is... we're currently spending this much on wages, but this is a committed spend, which means how much we're going to be spending in the future. And I think some of this is taking into account some of the loan players we sent out on loan. When they come back, we'll have to pay their wages again as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's just 53k, so I can deal with that later on. The point is to bring in players that I need, isn't it? So that's what we've done here. And hopefully maybe the finances will be better off. We're 9 million in debt and there's nothing I could really do about it. Projection in terms of transfer budget is upwards, as well as the balance, which is a bit weird. The board aren't really doing anything about it. There's a ton of debt, and for some reason finances are just not going well. I think if we have a look at last season's loss was 75k, apparently 75 million. Apparently this season we've had a profit, but I don't really see that. Of course, the main expenditure in terms, if we have a look at last season, it's always going to be player wages, but as you can see, loan repayments are more than half the player wages, so that's really what's putting us in quite a bit of debt as well, or in the red actually, and hopefully we can get over that quickly. And in terms of the transfer embargo, that's gone obviously, that's why we signed players. The owner is still Peter Lim. He's, the person who was trying to buy that deal kind of fell through. They were accusing Peter Lim of not actually showing their club's finances or financial records, and that's why whoever was interested in buying the club refused to, because you need to know the finances before you buy them. But that's kind of the most, I guess that's the main updates to show you. In terms of the schedule though, we did show you the last game was against Real San Sebastian, so we have played a number of games, but as you can tell, just 1 win out of 5. So we drew against Vigo in the Spanish Cup 5th round, first leg. It was away from home, so you can kind of be okay with that result, even though an away goal would have helped, because as you can tell here, we drew that game as well at home, and it was Vigo who went through on penalties. Very disappointing performance from the boys from the penalty spot. And, Vigo kind of go ahead, and we've been knocked out ahead of our expectations. For some reason, the board are kind of okay with it. And for some reason, again, it doesn't put my job in jeopardy. So it's a bit surprising. Against Guion, we managed to draw 2-2. Bit of a crazy game. Rodrigo and Villalba had us ahead at 2-0, but Nidi scored for his team just before half-time. And then Oscar turned around to kind of complete the, not so much a comeback, but at least a 2-2 result. And I was kind of disappointed for my players to give up the result after leading 2-0 up. Real his pass as well was finally when we did keep that 2-0 result. Santimina on the score sheet once more. Danny Parejo scoring in the 23rd minute, and that kind of, both goals on either side of the half is a good dominant performance against that team. And as we face off Vigo for the 3rd time in 5 games, and we drew against them 2-2, and this time it was Iago Aspas who kind of destroyed our hopes of getting 3 points. But once more, it's away from home, so you can kind of understand that result. Hopefully, we do have a bunch of difficult fixtures. Bilbao, Malaga, Pamplona will be a bit easy, but we've had some struggle facing them previously. But in terms of a club, we should be beating them. Barcelona and Sevilla, all these teams are going to be a little bit tough for us. And hopefully we can come out of these fixtures with some decent points, so that we can actually go on and end our season on a high. We started the season quite well, and then kind of just started to fall off in comparison to last season, where we started off poorly and then kind of just stayed poor. So hopefully we do have a strong finish, and then still manage to end in the Europa League spot, so we can actually get some money in and help with the debt, as well as bring in some players if the board allow me. That's kind of all, so we can finally kick off today's game. And this is, in terms of tactics, this is what we're doing. We switch to a 4-4-1-1. It's also what the assistant manager recommends, and the roles aren't necessarily the best for the players. We'll look into that later on, but for now we're going to try this out. Complete forward on support with a shadow strike. We've got central midfield on defend, duty to make amends for Perez's runs forward. Parejo on a box-to-box midfielder, and Rodrigo is a wide playmaker. I think when we push up into a 4-2-3-1, he'll play as an advanced playmaker, which is a role he's pretty capable of doing, and his backup as well is capable of doing that too. So this is the team we're going to be going for. We'll start off on the counter, and then we can push up into more attacking formations, I suppose, if needed. We've also got sweeper keeper now instead, so the high line won't affect us too much. We're not playing with the high line, but it's even when you're not playing with the high line, my instructions on closing down and the defensive line are normal, and sometimes, which means the players get to decide when to push up or when to drop back. And so when they do push up, that means Diego Alves will be there to sweep up anything that comes in behind. So we'll see if these tactics are any good. I think we did play against Vigo, and we seemed to do quite well. But unfortunately, they had a little late spur and that caught up to us. But it's going to take a bit for our players to adjust to new formation. It's not really a new tactic entirely. We're still playing with the same instructions and all that, so the players should adjust to this relatively easy. And it's just about getting used to the formation. So apparently we're not necessarily favourites. I wouldn't put us at underdogs either. But we are at home, so you would expect us to get some type of result today and at least make things difficult for Atletico Bilbao. So we have to man mark their advanced playmaker, of course, because we've got no defensive midfielders, and so the attacking midfielders can exploit that space. And let's try and use this one to see if the players can get enough encouragement to get results. So we're not favourites, like it said, as you could see in the team talk as well. And we're not necessarily underdogs either, so you kind of just, when it comes to that type of talk, you just have to motivate your players and hope they can come away with a result. But anyways, we've kicked off. It is Rodrigo on the ball here as a wide playmaker. I think for just a second game, loses the ball of course, but at least we dealt with that. We missed a header there from Perez, is it? Yeah. And Atletico Bilbao are the ones with the ball, and it looks like this highlight's not going to end. And maybe we might be punched as early as 30 seconds in. DeMarcos. Ooh, really good ball. It's just bouncing about, but Carmano comes away with it. Shadow strike, what can you do? Finds Nilmar quite easily, but he's got no support. He'd be better off holding on to the ball for a bit. He doesn't do that, but he does win the free kick from Laporte, who's surprisingly still at Atletico Bilbao. Normally he moves, and normally I think it's Arsenal who invest in him. I guess it's just the second year into the save, so not that far in, but I would expect Arsenal to come in for him. Carmano puts a poor ball into the box, and it is Mir who's come away with it though, and that's the end of that highlight. We may need to push in to control by the looks of things. But yeah, Atletico Bilbao definitely they're not afraid to attack here, playing with a 4-2-3-1. They've come out and, all guns blazing really. And the likelihood is we'll match their formation soon enough if we need to. But I think starting on a counter is a decent way to get things going. Nilmar's on the ball, loses that out to San Jose. Instead it's Laporte. As you can see, just two centre-backs here. Atletico Bilbao playing really attacking, so that our countering should work if Nilmar can keep the ball, and he does. Mir, what can he do, the winger now? Previously an inside forward, he tries to take his man on, but he loses it. Instead it's Bilbao countering our counter, and Williams, a decent winger's coming in, and he's going to try a shot probably. Wow. Okay, I have nothing to say about that. I'm pretty sure you all just witnessed that as well. Diego Alves letting that one slip in. And I would even say you can consider an own goal. Look at that. How could he get a shot away from there? And how could Diego Alves let that in? It's just poor goalkeeping. He doesn't even have a worse off rating. The match engine just thinks that's a good shot from Williams. That's just really poor. We're going to switch into control, but we'll stick with the 4-4-1-1, hoping to exploit these little spaces here that the attacking wingers leave. And maybe our more solid formation will help us win the game, or at least score. But we will have to push up into control at one point, into a 4-3-1 rather, at one point by the looks of it. Bilbao just about edging the shots and half chances, but we've had the majority of the possession. I think we can definitely tell our players off for a very poor showing in the first half. Come on, boys. Got a central midfielder on defend duty, Perez. He's on a yellow, so that's not too good. And with them man marking Garcia, it looks like Williams is the one who's taking it up on himself to cause damage. Speaking of though, Garcia's getting past his man, finds Odoriz. And Douglas does well to win a free kick from Williams, who might be in some trouble with the referee. Yep, gets a yellow card. I think it's a tiny bit harsh. I mean, he does't really see our fullback. But I guess whatever. Either way, why am I going to complain that he got a yellow? It's Erzpe. no one's really shutting him down, and he finds Suesta quite easily. You could put a really good ball into the box for Williams, and he manages to get away from Douglas. And that's just poor defending from our fullback, who lets his man get in front of him in order to convert the cross. And Bilbao are coming away with the result here, their first win in terms of when they faced since I started with Valencia. It's come in the 4th game against me, and I guess it's never too late to get a result. Either way, we need to turn this around, and we need to do it quickly. We're still kind of matching them in terms of shots. We've even edged out possession. They haven't had the best of half chances or, you know, clear-cut chances or that any type of business. They've just been clinical, is what it is. I don't think their shots are shots that you'd expect to convert. I mean, the second goal you can understand, but he shouldn't. What my point is that he shouldn't be getting that cross in the first place. And Douglas should also be dealing with that cross when it does come in. But anyways, Nilmar is going to be substituted for Santi Mina. We'll take off Parejo as well for Medran, and we'll save the last substitute for later. I think after these subs are made, it's the right time to switch into a 4-2-3-1 and see if we can save anything with half an hour left to go for the game. I thought switching into control would help us. It has statistically, but you know, nothing in terms of scoreline. Bilbao will be really happy with their performance so far. They haven't done anything amazing, but they've been very clinical, and that's fair play to them. Alright, let's see if there's any difference in terms of switching into a 4-2-3-1. We're matching their formation. Will we match their result? Some poor performances from our defenders here. Garay and Perez both struggling in defence. For some reason Douglas isn't too bad. But anyways, Mina, top goal scorer and top assister. He's going to take a stupid long shot. To be fair, that's not too stupid, that wasn't too far away. As you guys just saw, Bilbao immediately dropping into a more defensive state. Still kind of a 4-2-3-1, but a variation of it. 2 defensive midfielders, and they've dropped back their wingers. Now it looks like they're going to try and hold on to a result after seeing us switch into a more attacking formation. We'll bring on Piatti for Rodrigo. Let's see if that makes a difference. Piatti's a little bit better than Rodrigo, not just in terms of ability, but also in terms of how he suits the wide playmaker role. And hopefully, maybe he can do something. Nope, not really. Apparently not. Alright, so substitutions and the switch to a 4-2-3-1 has helped us really go ahead in terms of shots, but nothing still created of no clear-cut chances, no half chances, and that's disappointing. You got 19 minutes and you haven't done anything with it other than take a bunch of shots and hold on to possession. So poor again from my boys, and it looks like our time in Valencia will be up very soon. In truth, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm sick of this save. It doesn't seem like anything I do can actually save Valencia from their turmoil. They're just really lacking quality. Perez can maybe get us a goal, but yeah, that amounts to nothing. We're just poor in terms of quality, and I keep seeming to pick teams who are struggling financially, and because of that I can't invest. I'm not even talking about having small budgets. If I have a small budget I can work with that, but once your finances are insecure, there's nothing that can really be done. There's nothing I can actually do to save. I've seen it countless times with other football managers who, you know, play YouTube, make YouTube videos on lots of business. There's nothing you could do. You can continuously sell players off, your best players, and invest in buying other players. But not only is that a huge trouble, and that really puts, you know, wrecks your plans basically. Not only does it do that, but in the end of the day it has no effect in terms of finances. You do bring in some money, but the debt just keeps piling and piling up, and there's nothing you could seriously do. I don't see Valencia improving anytime soon, and if we do leave them, I would expect them to still be performing poorly. But if they bring in a manager who could do a better job than me, then credit to them. All I know is I've done my best really. I've tried every tactic under the sun to try and get this team into some good form. But it looks like we can't do anything, and yet Atletico Bilbao definitely profit from us being wasteful. And they've been clinical, and that's credit to them. But yeah, I think in terms of when we'll be back, there's a number of big games here, like I mentioned, Malaga, Pamplona, Barcelona, Sevilla. But again, we've showed you all these games, so we'll probably show you, maybe against Las Palmas, who are, if we're still in 10th, then it will be a huge, it would be a big 3 points to get against Las Palmas to keep them away from us, because if they do beat us, that means they'll jump ahead of us. And after a bunch of tough games against Malaga, Pamplona, and Barcelona, as well as Sevilla, it would mean that we would definitely need 3 points there. Oviedo as well, we'd need the 3 points. Eibar, but these teams we should be beating. Maybe Getafe as well, but the likelihood is we'll be back for Las Palmas. We've shown you them before, but under different circumstances. And Madrid, Levante have some tough fixtures coming up and some decent easy ones. So it looks like our inconsistency may yet continue. But anyways, I think that will be all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then of course please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always guys, thank you all very, very much for watching.